With your cast on stitches on your left hand needle, place your right hand needle into the front of the first stitch. Take your yarn and wrap it anti-clockwise round your right hand needle. Pull the stitch through as shown to the front. Make sure it is pushed along to the thickest part of your knitting needle. Finish the stitch by removing it from the left hand needle as shown. I will show you this a few more times until the end of the row. Make sure your stitches are not too tight. They need to be able to be moved up and down the needle fairly loosely, but you want to try and consistently have the same size stitches. This is what your first row should look like. The front should be fairly smooth. The back will have like knobbly bits, as you can see. This is because the knit stitch transfers the stitches towards the back of your work. To start a new row, simply turn your stitches round so they're on the left again. If you look closely as the stitches are formed, you will see that the stitches are being moved to the back of the work. See here, this stitch is going towards the back. That causes these knobbles to be at the back. Because this is your second row, the knobbly bits will be on the opposite side to what they were on your first row. I will just continue for a couple more rows so you can see the pattern that is formed. When you knit every stitch on all the rows, this forms a pattern called the garter stitch. At the end of each row, it is a good idea to count the number of stitches you have, just to make sure you haven't lost any or added any random stitches on that row. This is what it looks like after I've done a few rows. So how to count rows? If you have used the thumb cast on method and the tail end of your yarn is to the left hand side, this shows that the right side of your work is facing you. If the tail end of the yarn was on the right, then you would be looking at the wrong side of your work. With the right side of your work facing you means you have done an even number of rows. Each flat section and each raised section of the garter stitch indicates each row, so in turn count each one. Here I have done 10 rows. You do not count the stitches on the needle as a row. To cast off the stitches at the end of your work, simply first knit 2 stitches, making sure that these stitches are nice and loose. You don't want your cast off edge to be really tight. Using your left hand needle, place the first stitch over the second stitch and off the end of your needle. You will have 1 stitch left on your right hand needle. Then knit another stitch and repeat again, taking the first stitch over the second one. Repeat this process until the end of the row. You will have 1 remaining stitch left on your right hand needle. To finish, take out your needle, cut the thread and thread it through the last remaining stitch.